We are on the record for hearings of the matters listed in the North Dakota Industrial Commission hearing docket for February 26th. I'm David Garner, hearing examiner for these hearings. We're at the hearing room for the Department of Mineral Resources Oil and Gas Division. It is 9 a.m. On the docket, the following matters will be continued or dismissed. Case number 32602 continued. Case number 32606 dismissed. Case number 32408 continued. Case number 32335 continued. Case number 32337 continued. Case number 32338 continued. Case number 31676 dismissed. Case number 32336 continued. Case number 32053 continued. Case number 32170 continued. Case number 32611 continued. Case number 32612 continued. Case number 32514 continued. Case number 32253 dismissed. Case number 32332 continued. Case number 32403 continued. Case number 32404 continued. Case number 32613 continued. Case number 32614 continued. Case number 32375 continued. Case number 32615 continued. Case number 32616 continued. Case number 32617 dismissed. Case number 32407 dismissed. Case number 32491 dismissed. Case number 32618 continued. Case number 32517 continued. Case number 32518 continued. Case number 32519 continued. Case number 32520 continued. Case number 32521 continued. Case number 32623 dismissed. Case number 32541 dismissed. Case number 32384 continued. Case number 32349 continued. Case number 32350 continued. Case number 32351 continued. Case number 32352 continued. Case number 32353 continued. Case number 32354 continued. Case number 32355 continued. Case number 32356 continued. Case number 32357 continued. Case number 32358 continued. Case number 32359 continued. Case number 32360 continued. Case number 32361 continued. Case number 32362 continued. Case number 32363 continued. Case number 32177 continued. Case number 32178 continued. Case number 32086 continued. Case number 32087 continued. Case number 31682 dismissed. Case number 32626 continued. Case number 32549 continued. Case number 32550 continued. Case number 32551 continued. Case number 32554 continued. Case number 32555 continued. Case number 32556 continued. Administrative docket starts on page 14 with case number 32624 and goes through case number 32641. These cases will be heard in the next room. Michael Zisch. Audio recordings of the cases on the administrative docket will be placed on the oil and gas website by the end of the week. If you wish to appear on one of the matters in the administrative docket, please appear in the next room. If there is opposition to the matter, will be brought back into this hearing room to be heard, and your statements and evidence will be taken. We will begin with moving to case number 32602. This is a motion of the Commission to review the pilot injection project for enhanced oil recovery, authorized under order number 33571, authorizing Eagle Operating Inc. to continue the pilot injection project. This case will continue to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32602. Case number 32603, application of Savannah Energy Operating LLC for an order authorizing the drilling, completing, and producing of the Olympia 3625-3H well with a horizontal lateral located not less than 85 feet from the southern boundary of the 1280-acre spacing unit described as sections 25 and 36, Township 155 North, Range 99 West, Williams County, North Dakota, as an exception to the field rules for the Epping Bakken pool and such other and further relief. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Lawrence Bender, P.O. Box 1854, Bismarck, North Dakota. Appearing in this matter, case number 32603 on behalf of Savannah Energy Operating LLC. This is a companion case to a matter that was heard in December, and that case was 32438. If my recollection is correct, there was an advertising problem with that case, so this case was filed to solve that advertising problem. So at this time, we respectfully request that the record that was created in case number 32438 be incorporated into this case, 32603. and that evidence should allow the commission to render a decision in this matter.
Any comments or questions from the staff? Okay. Your request is granted. That concludes our hearing for case number 32603. Case number 32604. Application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order authorizing the drilling, completing, and producing of the Charleston 8-22 HSL well with the toe of horizontal lateral located not less than approximately 133 feet from the north boundary of the 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 14, 15, 22, 23, 26, 27, 34, and 35, Township 155 North, Range 98 West, Williams County, North Dakota, as an exception to the field rules for the Brooklyn Bakken Pool and such other and further relief. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Lawrence Bender, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this matter, case number 32604, on behalf of Continental Resources, Inc. This is a companion case to a matter that was heard before the Commission in December of 2025. That case was 32440. As in the previous case, there was a advertising problem in that case. Continental went forward with the hearing with the idea that this case would be placed on the docket and that the record could be incorporated. So at this time, we respectfully request that the record from case 32440, heard in December of 2025, be incorporated into case 32604, and we believe that evidence will allow the Commission to render a decision in case 32604.
Any questions or comments from the staff? Your request is granted. That concludes our hearing for case number 32604. Case number 32605, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order authorizing the drilling, completing, and producing of the Addison 7-23H well with the toe of the horizontal lateral located not less than approximately 132 feet from the north boundary of the 2560 acre spacing unit, described as sections 14, 23, 26, and 35, Township 155 North, Range 98 West, Williams County, North Dakota, as an exception to the field rules for the Brooklyn Bakken Pool and such other and further relief. All interested parties, please come forward.
Lawrence Bender, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this matter, case 32605, on behalf of Continental Resources, Inc. As with the previous case, there was an advertising problem in a case, companion case, case number 32441. And we went forward with that hearing with the idea that this case would be put on the February docket. So at this time, we respectfully request that the record that was created in case 32441 be incorporated into the record in case 32605. We believe that evidence will be sufficient for the Commission to render a decision in case 32605.
Any questions or comments from the staff? Your request is granted. That concludes our hearing for case number 32605. Case number 32606, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32606. Case number 32410, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Charlie Bob Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as section 32, Township 146 North, Range 98 West, and sections 5, 8, and 17, Township 145 North, Range 98 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Beaver, P.O. Box 1017, Saratoga, Wyoming. Appearing in this case on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. We have 3 witnesses this morning, Mr. Tom Crook, Mr. Topher Lewis, and Mr. Eric Chivy.
Mr. Crook, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do. Tom, would you please state your name, by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and please give your business address?
Yeah, I'm Tom. Sorry. I'm Tom Crook, senior landman at Phoenix Energy. Address is 4643 South Ulster Street, Suite 1510, Denver, Colorado 80237.
Have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes.
And have you had your qualifications been received as that of an expert?
Yes.
I've moved to that the testimony of Mr. Crook be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to the proposed spacing unit in this application?
Yes.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
Okay, turning to Exhibit 1, please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background that's the subject of the application, please.
Sure. L1 is a locator map showing the proposed unit that we call Brenda in section 32 of 146 North 98 West and sections 5817 of 145 North 98 West in McKenzie County. The proposed unit is outlined in red.
Great. Turning to Exhibit 2, please describe the spacing unit that's subject to the application as depicted on Exhibit L2.
Yeah, L2 really shows that it's, again, surrounded, outlined in red, shows that we have no active wells in this area. And at the bottom there shows that Phoenix's working interest in this unit is 55%.
Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing units if approved for drilling?
Yes.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit that's labeled Exhibit 8 to each of the exhibits?
I did.
Or pardon me, it's not Exhibit 8, it's Exhibit
E4. Yeah.
I have no further questions for Mr. Crook and move for the admission of the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Lewis, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Topher, would you please state your name, by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give your business address, please?
Topher Lewis, I'm a geologist for Phoenix Energy, and the address is 4643 South Ulster Street, Suite 1510, Denver, Colorado, 80237.
And Topher, you previously testified before the commission.
Yes, I have.
You've had your qualifications been received as that of an expert.
Yes, they were.
I move to that Mr. Lewis's testimony be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Topher, you're personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing unit that's subject to the application, correct?
Correct.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes, G1 and G2.
Great. So using G1, please describe the structure of the middle Bakken underlying the spacing unit, please.
Yes, G1 is on structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale in subsurface TBD with a contour interval of 20 feet. The structure in this area is dipping into the basin up to the north. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit. And in addition to that, there's a gold line with 3 wells from A to A prime that highlights the type log as the middle of the 3 wells. And we'll use that type log for the next exhibit and later data.
And turning to G2, please identify the type log and describe the contents of the type log in the cross section, please.
Yeah, the upper portion is a 3-well cross section, and the log curves are plotting just a basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity. And the middle well is called out as the type log. That's the Watson BN34. In addition to that, the black lines highlight the generalized stratigraphy that we use in the area, illustrating that the Bakken system is present and it's about 30 feet thick in this area. And then the data from that Watson well is what we use in the table below on the bottom for the reservoir parameters.
And are the reservoir characteristics for the proposed spacing unit shown on G2?
Yes, they are.
And is the middle Bakken present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for Mr. Lewis, and move for admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Shivy, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Eric, would you please state your name, by whom you're employed, and what capacity, and please give your business address?
Yes, my name's Eric Shivy. I'm employed by Phoenix Energy. The address is 4643 South Ulster Street, Suite 1510, Denver, Colorado, 80237. I'm the Vice President of Reservoir Engineering and Corporate reserves.
And you previously testified before the commission.
I have.
And had your qualifications been received as that of an expert?
Yes, they have.
Move to receive Mr. Shivy's testimony as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Eric, you're personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with requested spacing units that's subject to this application 32410?
Yes, I am.
You prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, using Exhibit E1, would you please describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram for the wells in this spacing unit?
Yes, this is our standard 3-string casing design we use in the Williston Basin, 9 5/8 surface casing set, 7-inch intermediate landed through the lateral, and then 4.5-inch liners cemented in place. As this is a proposed 4-mile lateral, this would be completed approximately 105, 110 stages via plug and perf.
And turning to Exhibit E2, would you please describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this spacing unit?
Yes, this is, we would plan to batch drill and complete these wells in approximately Q2 of next year. We have a pad location identified in the northeast quarter of section 32 there. So drilling north to south. These wells would be 550 feet setbacks from west and east. That's approximately 1,045 feet of spacing in between the wells.
And now turning to Exhibit E3, please discuss the economics of these wells in the proposed spacing unit.
Sure. The first table above that lists our ARPS parameters to generate an EUR of 720,000 barrels per well. Average GOR in the area is about 2.7 MCF per barrel. The DSU recovery factor for these 5 wells is approximately 20%. The gross economics listed below, I've run it again a flat oil price of $65, West Texas Intermediate, $3.50 Henry Hub gas. I then show a realized oil price and gas price with deducts we're assuming. D&C cost is approximately a little under $12 million for a 4-miler, and that yields a PV10 of approximately 7.7 million, internal rate of return of 46%. An undiscounted return on investment of 2.26 and an undiscounted payout of approximately 1.82 years.
Okay, thank you. And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights be protected, and waste be prevented?
Yes.
And Exhibit E4 is that the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
That's correct.
I have no further questions for Mr. Shivy and move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32410. Case number 32409. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders to the Charlie Bob Bogdan Pool to establish a stand-up 25 60-acre spacing unit described as Section 31, Township 146 North, Range 98 West, and Section 6, 7, and 18, Township 145 North, Range 98 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Beaver, bringing this case on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. Again, we have our same witnesses.
And they're still under oath.
Okay, Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters subject to this application 32409?
Yes.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes.
Okay, looking at L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background that's subject to this application?
Yes. L1 shows our proposed unit, which we call Swenson, outlined in red in McKenzie County, spanning from 146.98 and Section 31 there to Section 6, 7, and 18 of 145 North, 98 West, down in, I think I mentioned McKenzie County.
Okay, L2, can you describe the spacing unit that's subject to the application as depicted on L2?
Yes, L2 shows our proposed unit outlined in red again. There are no active wells within this unit. And at the bottom there, it shows that our working interest at this point is 47.9%.
And is Phoenix still looking to actively lease the area to the extent that?
There's about 30% of the unit still unleased, and we are actively pursuing.
Great. And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
We will.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit that's labeled Exhibit E4 to each of the set of exhibits?
I did.
I have no further questions for Mr. Crook and move for admission of the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Topher, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing unit subject to this application 32409?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for
Yes,
the hearing?
exhibits G1 and G2.
Okay, using exhibit G1, please describe the structure of the middle Bakken underlying the spacing unit, please.
Yes, G1 is a structure map in the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TVD with a contour interval of 20 feet. Very similar to the exhibit from case 32410. The structure in the area is dipping into the basin to the north, and the red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit. And gold line is 3-well cross-section, A to A prime, highlighting the type log that we'll use in the next exhibits and later data.
Okay, and turning to the next exhibit, G2, can you please identify the type log and describe the contents of the type log in the cross-section, please?
Yes, exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 3-well cross-section, A to A prime. The curves are from basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity. In addition, the black lines represent our generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Bakken is present and about 30 feet thick. And the type log in this area that we use for this one is same as case 32410, the Watson BN34.
Are the reservoir characteristics for the proposed spacing unit shown on exhibit G2?
Yes, it's the table in the
Yeah.
lower portion.
And is the middle Bakken present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is about 30 feet thick.
No further questions for Mr. Lewis and move for the admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Shivy, are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with the requested spacing unit subject to application 32409?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes, I have.
Okay, looking at exhibit E1, can you describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram for the proposed spacing unit, please?
Sure. This is identical to the previous case, 32410. It's our standard 3-string casing design we use in the Williston Basin, 4.5-inch liners cemented in place.
All right, turning to E2, can you describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this spacing unit, please?
Yes. This is just to the west of the case you just heard, 32410. Coincidentally, the proposed pad location is also in the northeast quarter of the northern section. This would be section 31. And the development plan is similar, 5 wells batch drilled and completed. This would spud approximately in Q3 of 2027.
Okay, turning to E3, Exhibit E3, discuss the well economics in this proposed spacing unit.
Sure, as this is just an adjacent DSU to the west of the previous case, it's identical economics actually. 720,000 barrels of oil per well. It yields approximately again a 20% recovery factor. About $12 million to drill these wells, and again PV10 7.7 million and internal rate of return of 46%.
Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights be protected, and waste be prevented?
Yes, I believe so.
In Exhibit E4, is that the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
That is correct.
No further questions for Mr. Shivy. Move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32409. Case number 32408, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our April hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32408. Case number 32335, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes the hearing for case number 32335. Case number 32337, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32337. Case number 32338, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32338. Case number 31676, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 31676. Case number 32336, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32336. Case number 32516, application of Petro Hunt LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Fraser, Bach, and Pool to establish an overlapping stand-up 1920 acre spacing unit described as sections 1930 and 31, Township 161 North, Range 97 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 holes on the wells to be drilled in such unit, or grant such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Petro Hunt LLC. 3 witnesses testifying in this case. Mr. Justin Vanderlinden is present in the hearing room.
I'm sorry, last name again?
Vanderlinden.
Vanderland?
Vanderlinden.
Vanderland, okay.
Linden.
Where's, I don't have a list. Did you submit a witness list?
Yeah.
Vanderlinden.
Yep.
Okay, and the other two?
It will be Dan Carson and Jack Clayton.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Vanderlinden, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Justin, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yep. Justin Vanderlinden, P.O. Box 935, Bismarck, North Dakota, 58502. I'm employed as a landman with Petro Hunt LLC.
And Justin, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, I have.
And are you familiar with the land matters that are associated with the proposed spacing unit?
Yes, I am.
I'd move the testimony of Mr. Vanderlinden be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Justin, if I can have you take a look at exhibit number 1 and identify that spacing unit you're requesting in your working interest.
Yeah, this is the proposed spacing unit, 1,920 acre spacing unit consisting of sections 19, 30, and 31, Township 161 North, Range 97 West in Divide County.
Okay. And 30 and 31 are currently a Petro Hunt operated spacing unit.
That is correct.
Okay. And then have you or will you communicate with any of the other working interest owners with respect to development and operatorship?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Vanderlinden. I'd offer exhibit number 1.
The exhibit is admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Carson,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Dan, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Certainly. My name is Dan Carson. I am employed by Petro Hunt LLC as a senior geologist. I work at 600 17th Street, Suite 2550 South in Denver, Colorado.
And Dan, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
I have.
And are you familiar with the geology related to the proposed spacing unit?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Carson be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Dan, let's start with the exhibit number 2 and just kind of walk us through how this 1920 fits in with the series of spacing units that you brought before the commission last month.
Certainly. As you mentioned, last month we had a number of cases all in southern Divide County, and this case number 32516, is on the far eastern side, shown as a somewhat salmon-colored red stand-up 1920.
And then let's move on to the next exhibit number 3. And then specific to the 1920 that we're requesting, if you kind of walk us through the structure underlying that 1920 and then how you intend to develop it.
Certainly. As you can see, the 1920 is outlined in red across sections 19, 30, and 31. underlying that is a contour map of the Upper Bakken Shale. You can see that the contours it's dipping down towards the basin to the south-southeast and coming up shallower out of the basin to the north-northwest. Within that unit, you can see 4 dashed lines. Those are the 4 proposed Middle Bakken laterals. What you'll also notice is there's one existing 2-mile Middle Bakken lateral. In reality, if we drill in that location, we won't drill directly next to it. We'll scoot over a little bit. That's just a little bit of an error there on our map, but not particularly material here.
Sure.
And this 1920 is aligned and conforms to the previous units, DSUs that we've requested.
Okay. And then moving on to exhibit number 4, that the type log that you're showing, what are you showing us on that exhibit?
Sure. This is a nearby type log that penetrates the lodgepole, the Bakken and Three Forks sections. And on this type log, you can see that we've picked tops for the Upper Bakken Shale, the Middle Bakken, Lower Bakken, and the first bench of the Three Forks. Within here, you can see the triple combo log, and it would, you can see the Middle Bakken, which is these wells will be drilled as. It's about 64 feet thick in here, and we have a porosity between 6 and 7%, generally speaking, throughout the Middle Bakken.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Carson. I'd offer exhibits 2, 3, and 4.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Dan, on your exhibit 3, looks like the surface location is up in section 18.
That's exactly right, and that is in line with most of the other units that we proposed last month. We plan to try to consolidate surface locations as much as possible, minimize the disturbance.
And what's your offset from the section lines on the outside wells?
On the outside wells, I believe it's 600 feet. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think that's about right.
And when do you plan to drill these?
That remains to be seen. Infrastructure is the big issue, power. So we would suspect that for wide-scale development, we're probably at least a year or 2 off before we have everything in place. We may drill 1 or 2 wells if needed.
Okay, thank you.
Sooner. Right. You're welcome.
Mr. Clayton,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Jack, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Jack Clayton, employed by Petra Hunt LLC. I am a reservoir engineer with the working address of 2101 Cedar Springs Road, Suite 600 at Dallas, Texas 75201.
And Jack, have you previously testified before this commission?
I have not.
Okay. Can I have you briefly take us through your educational background and your relevant work experience?
Yes. So I got my Bachelor's of Science in Petroleum Engineering from Texas A&M University in May of 2021. Following my education, I started work for Liberty Energy as a frac field engineer for approximately 2 years. And since then, I have been working for Petra Hunt for the past 2.5 years as a reservoir engineer.
And Jack, are you familiar with the engineering matters that are associated with the proposed spacing unit we're discussing today?
Yes.
Okay. I'd move the testimony of Mr. Clayton be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Jack, let's go ahead and take a look at your exhibit number 5. Can you go ahead and summarize the reservoir data for us?
Yeah, so this is the reservoir data of Fraser Field, sections 1930-31 of Township 161 North, Range 97 West in Divide, North Dakota. We have dolomite rock with, I believe, 246 degrees Fahrenheit bottom hole temperature, 40 degree API oil gravity, 0.94 gas gravity, We expect the initial gas oil ratio to be 900 cubic feet per barrel of oil. Spacing unit is 1920 acres with an average thickness of 64 feet in the middle Bakken. The average porosity of 8% and an average water saturation of 52%. Oil formation volume factor of 1.62 reservoir barrels per stock tank barrel. Our estimated original oil in place is 22,658,200 with an estimated ultimate recovery of 474,000 barrels per well and a recovery factor of 2.09%.
And then let's move on to exhibit number 6. Can you walk us through what the economics would look like?
Yes, so the economics at a 4-well spacing, we expect the initial production rate to be 600 barrels of oil per day with that 900 cubic feet per stock tank barrel gas oil ratio. We estimate that 474,000 barrels of oil for the estimated EUR. A projected well cost of $10,211,191 with operating expenses of around $16,600 per month. Estimated royalty burden in this section is 19%, and our estimated oil price and gas prices for this evaluation was $60 per barrel oil and $3.50 per MCF, with a payout time of 2.21 years, an ROI of 1.51, and a rate of return of 22%.
Okay. And Jack, in your opinion, if the commission were to approve this spacing unit for the development that's been described, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions. I offer exhibits 5, 6, and the gas capture plan affidavit, which is marked as exhibit 7.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32516. Case number 32053, application of Continental Resources, Inc. I'll note that the request for a 5120 acre spacing unit consisting of sections 15, 16, 21, 22, 27, 28, 33, and 34, Township 161 North, Range 93 West, has been withdrawn. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32053. Case number 32170, application of Continental Resources, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32170. Case number 32607, application of Formentera Operations LLC for an order for the Fraser Bakken Pool to establish two overlapping 1928 spacing units consisting of sections 5, 8, and 17, and sections 20, 29, and 32, Township 161 North, Range 97 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize the drilling of up to 8 horizontal wells in each spacing unit and grant such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Mr. Examiner, Aaron Beaver, P.O. Box 1017, Saratoga, Wyoming, 82331, bringing this case on behalf of Formentera Operating LLC. We have 3 witnesses this morning. Laura Lind, who will be our land witness, Walker Ligon, who will be our geology witness, and Kim Laba will be our engineering witness.
Do you have any exhibits?
I thought that they had been submitted to the commission. Copies are being made right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I will swear in the first witness.
Sure.
Ms. Lynn?
Hello.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Laura, would you please state your name, by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give your business address, please?
Laura Lynn. I'm a landman. I work for Formentera Operations. Our address is 300 Colorado Street, Suite 1900, Austin, Texas, 78701.
And Laura, have you previously testified before the commission?
No.
Okay, would you please describe briefly your educational and professional background and experience, please?
Yes, I have a degree from the University of Oklahoma, and I have about 18 years of land experience. I started out in the Barnett with Chesapeake in 2007, and I've worked the Anadarko Basin since about 2012, and I recently started working in the Williston Basin in North Dakota.
Great. And are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to the proposed spacing units in this particular application? I move to have Ms. Lynn's testimony be received as that of an expert in this case.
Motion granted. So at this time, since we don't have exhibits, why don't I swear in all the three witnesses? Then we can just jump right
Sure.
in.
Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Ligon,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Walker, can you please state your name, by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and please give us your business address?
My name is Walker Ligon. I'm a geologist employed at Formentera, and our business address is 300 Colorado, Austin, Texas, 78701.
And Walker, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes.
And had your qualifications been received as that of an expert in your previous testimony?
Yes.
Are you personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing units subject to application 32607?
Yes.
I move that Mr. Ligon's testimony this morning be received as that of an expert witness.
Motion granted. And I'll also swear in the remaining witness.
Great.
So, Ms. Halava,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Kim, would you please state your name, by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give your business address, please?
Yes, I am Kim Lava, employed at Formentera as a reservoir engineer, and my address is 300 Colorado Street, Austin, Texas, 78701.
Kim, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes.
And have you had your qualifications previously received as that of an expert witness?
Yes.
And are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with the requesting spacing unit that are subject to application 32607?
Yes.
I move that Ms. Lava's testimony be accepted as that of an expert.
Motion granted. Okay. At this time, we're going to take a 2-minute break.
Great.
We are back on the record. And Attorney Bieber, you can proceed.
I'll just make a note that the exhibits, there's on the left and right side, sometimes they're cut off, so we may have to ask some questions, but they can be refiled after the hearing, so we have the entire exhibit in front of us. And with that, we can proceed.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and supplement the record right after the hearing today.
I'll keep the record open for a day. Is that good enough?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it'll be this afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just set that forth. The record will remain open in this case until February 27th.
Great.
You can proceed.
Thank you. Laura, have you prepared or caused to be prepared the land exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
And looking at Exhibit 1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing units on the broad background that's subject to the application?
Yeah, we're proposing to establish 2 overlapping 19-20 acre spacing units consisting of sections 5, 8, and 17, and then sections 20, 29, and 32 in 161 North, 97 West, Divide County.
Okay, and turning to Exhibit 2, which shows these 2 spacing units in relation to existing or previously approved spacing, both 3 mile and 2 mile. Can you please describe these spacing units and their orientation to the surrounding units?
Yes, so our proposed spacing units are in the red slashed colored area. To the east, we have 2 previously approved spacing units, and to the west, we have a well currently drilling and a recently approved spacing unit, and to the northwest, those 3 adjacent sections.
Okay, and let's actually turn to Exhibit 3 that shows your Formentera's working interest in both units, correct?
Yes.
And are you working to attain more working interest in the northern of the 2 units? That's sections 5, 8, and 17?
Yes.
And you mentioned it's an overlapping spacing unit. What's the existing spacing unit within these 2 spacing units?
There's 1,280 acre spacing units.
And where is that located?
There is one that encompasses 5 and 8. And then there's one that encompasses 20 and 17.
Okay, and is there currently producing well in 5 and 8?
Yes.
And who is the operator of that well?
We are the operator.
Great. Is there a producing well in sections 17 and 20?
Yes.
And who is the operator of that well?
Hunt Oil Company.
Have you reached out to Hunt previously about your proposed spacing units overlapping their 1280?
Yes, we have been in conversations with them for a little over a year.
When did those conversations start approximately?
In October of 2024.
And did you work with them to try to establish a trade or a sale?
Yes.
Did you notify Hunt Oil Company of the application?
Yes, we notified them in early January.
Did they voice objection to your spacing application?
They told us that they had plans for development, and then they requested that if we had another offer to make, that we should make it at that time. And so we sent them an updated offer at the end of January, and we haven't heard back from them since.
And you received no protest to your application for these spacing units?
Correct.
Will Formentera cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
Yes.
No further questions for Ms. Lynn?
One for the exhibits.
And I'd move top for the exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Aaron, to be clear, the the overview page is not an exhibit number. So exhibit 1 is the map with the two red 1920s on it.
Correct. Exhibit 1 is the locator map with the red outline. Exhibit 2 is the locator map with a previously approved adjacent spacing. And then exhibit 3 is the land exhibit, which displays working interest in both proposed spacing units.
Okay, thank you.
You can proceed.
All right, Walker, have you prepared or caused to be prepared the geology exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
And using what I'm calling Exhibit 4, which says at the top, partially, geological structure map of the top middle Bakken, would you please, using Exhibit 4, give an overview of your assessment of the geology in this proposed spacing units?
Yes. So the exhibit or map displayed is the middle Bakken top, and this is a structure map showing a down dip from north to south. The contour intervals are 100 feet, and in the proposed spacing units, we're seeing a subsea TVD of 6390 to 6740.
And turning the page to the next exhibit, Exhibit 5, does this show the, or does it identify the type logs in the cross section for the proposed spacing units?
Yes, the type log for the proposed spacing unit will be the O'Brien 17, which is located directly to the west of the proposed spacing units. I've also displayed a cross section of 2 other wells across the proposed spacing unit showing the entire section.
And then turning the page to Exhibit 6, can you please describe the reservoir characteristics that are underlying these 2 spacing units for the Bakken and Three Forks formations?
Sure. On Exhibit 6, I've provided a type log for our middle Bakken target and our Three Forks target. The middle Bakken formation is about 65 feet thick in these spacing units, and the upper Three Forks, which we'll be targeting in the lower highlighted unit, and the type log is about 20 feet thick.
Are the middle Bakken and Three Forks formations present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing units, both of them?
Yes.
No further questions for Mr. Ligon, and move to admit exhibits 4, 5, and 6, the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from staff? You can proceed.
All right, Ms. Lava, have you prepared or caused to be prepared the engineering exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
Okay, using what I'm calling Exhibit 7 here, which displays the proposed 1920 acre spacing unit for sections 5, 8, and 17. Would you please describe Formentera's proposed development plan for 5, 8, and 17, please?
Yes. So in this unit, we plan to drill from south to north, a maximum of 8 wells within the spacing unit, a wine rack style Three Forks Middle Bakken landing with a shared pad that exists on the south side of the unit that would share resources with the next set of wells that would go from north to south.
And I see identified on the exhibit 2 wells. Can you please just briefly talk about those wells?
Yes, so we have 2 existing wells in the unit, the Leo and the Fraser, one of which, as Laura stated, we operate, and the other of which we don't. So those are the wells where we can run anti-collision and make sure that we are adequately completing the wells that are within that area to lessen the amount of frac hit that those parent wells will experience. We do have potential for child and parent relationships happening here, which is in the later slides shown in my risk profile for parent and child depletion cases.
And so your operations take that into account.
Yes, sir.
Kim, I'd like you to flip the page to the next exhibit 8. And this shows your proposed operations in 2029 and 32. Would you please describe exhibit 8?
Yes, so similar to the prior exhibit, this shows our potential maximum number of wells within this drill spacing unit. Drilling, again, sharing the pad on the north side with the wells that I just, these wells will drill from north to south in a wine rack style Middle Bakken 3-4.
Okay, now turning to the next page, exhibit 9. Using exhibit 9, please describe Formentera's proposed wellbore diagram for the proposed spacing unit.
Yes, so we just happened to drill just to the west of here the most recent Wildcat Hollow wells, which I'm using as a reference. We actually just recently completed those as well with about 80 stages. And depending on the results that we get from those wells, we're looking at plug and perf style completion with between 80 to 105 stages, depending on our results. But we have very good well control in this area.
Okay, Kim, turning to the next page, exhibit 10, would you please discuss the economics for your Middle Bakken wells and the proposed spacing units, please?
Yes, so using our optimal working interest and NRI here, we have economics that give us a very high IRR and short payout with EURs of oil between 642, and if there is some depletion, we're looking at between 500 and 650 EUR with GORs in the 3.0 to 3.2 range.
And Kim, turning to the next page, exhibit 11, would you please discuss Formentera's economics for your Three Forks wells in these proposed spacing units?
Yes, so this is actually exactly the same. The only difference between the Middle Bakken and Three Forks here would be the oil in place and the noted recovery factor on the left side of the chart. Right now, we don't see any notable differences between the Middle Bakken and Three Forks production profiles in these areas.
And Kim, lastly, turning to exhibit 12, the next page, it's a gas capture affidavit. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Kim, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented in these two spacing units? Correlative rights be protected and waste be prevented in these two spacing units?
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions and move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Kim, at this time, does Formentera plan to drill all of the proposed 8 wells in a batch process, or are you looking at drilling some of them and then coming back to the area, or what's the plan on that?
So right now, our constraints are the water takeaway and the electrical in the area. So at this point, the spacing shows the maximum number of wells that we would drill for each unit. However, based on the electrical capacity and the water takeaway in the area, we may have to alter our cases to lessen the number of wells, especially as we continue to look at parent-child relationships and how the offset fracs affect parent well bores and vice versa.
If you come in, would you be developing both Middle Bakken and Three Forks in both spacing units, or would you just start with one or the other?
Right now, our plan is to develop both at the same time, as we believe that they communicate with each other directly. However, we do have, as I mentioned, the recently completed Wildcat Hollow to the west or east of here. So based on the results that we see from those wells, we may alter our plan to adjust to potentially Middle Bakken only, or continue with their current plan. But that's the plan at this point.
And I apologize if I missed it, but did you mention when you plan to start development?
For these units, we're looking at April of 2027, and that is due to electrical constraints that we have in the area.
Okay, thank you.
Kim, on your exhibit 7, the legend is apparently cut off, so it was purple is what kind of well?
Oh, purple is a Three Forks well, and the green is a Middle Bakken well.
And what's your offset from the spacing and boundary on the east and west sides?
500 feet.
So you're going to drill.
And we do usually, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I think you're going where I was going.
Yeah, we usually do provide drilling with an additional offset of 50 to 100 feet within those setbacks, just to avoid any potential error.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32607. This time I'll take a 10-minute break. I'll resume with case number 32608. Application of Formentera Operations LLC for an order amending the field rules for the White Acre, Bakken Pool, Divide County, North Dakota as follows. 1. Create and establish 2 overlapping 1920 acre spacing units comprised of sections 1, 12, and 13, and sections 2, 11, and 14, Township 161 North, Range 98 West, authorizing the drilling of a total not to exceed 4 horizontal wells in each proposed overlapping 1920 acre spacing unit. And 2. Create and establish an overlapping 3840 acre spacing unit comprised of sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14, Township 161 North, Range 98 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units on said proposed overlapping 3840 acre spacing unit, and or such further relief. All interested parties, please come forward.
Lawrence Bender, P.O. Box 1854, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this matter, case number 32608 on behalf of Formentera Operations LLC. And at least for the first case, for this case, I believe all the witnesses who will be testifying were introduced and sworn in the previous case.
You can proceed.
Okay. Laura, would you turn to the packet of exhibits for case 32608? Let's skip the cover page and let's go to skip the table of contents and go to what's been marked as Exhibit 1. I'd like you to identify Exhibit 1 and then briefly describe what's contained upon it.
Yes, Exhibit 1 shows our spacing application for 2 1920 acre units comprised of sections 1, 12, and 13, and sections 2, 11, and 14, and 16198, Divide County, with a overlapping 384 acre spacing unit comprised of sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 16198, Divide County.
And those spacing units that you've just described are outlined in red, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's go to the next exhibit then. Exhibit 2, as you did with Exhibit 1, identify and briefly discuss what's contained upon it.
As you can see in the red striped sections, these are what we've requested the spacing for. Both units are described here. To the east is a unit that was previously approved and we are currently drilling. And to the south, there are 1920 acre units, and to the west.
So generally speaking, this exhibit, Exhibit 2, sets forth what the spacing is in this area, and it shows a combination of 1920s and 1280s, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have that color-coded, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's go on to Exhibit 3. Tell us what Exhibit 3 is.
Exhibit 3 shows our working interest in both units. In sections 1, 12, and 13, we have a working interest estimated at 43%. And in sections 2, 11, and 14, we have an estimated working interest of 66%.
And in that spacing unit where Formentera owns less than majority interest, will Formentera have discussions with other working interest owners to determine who should be the operator?
Yes.
Okay, let's go on then to Exhibit 4. As you did with the previous land exhibits, identify Exhibit 4 and then briefly discuss what's contained upon it.
Exhibit 4 shows the section, I can't think of the correct word right now, the overlapping unit with the section line wells comprised of 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14 with an estimated working interest of 66% for Formentera. 64%.
So it's the proposed 3840 spacing unit, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and once again, approximately 64% is owned by Formentera, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for the land witness.
Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Walker, let's turn to the next exhibit in the packet, Exhibit 5. And as Laura did, what I'd like you to do is identify the exhibit and then briefly describe what's contained upon it.
Sure. Exhibit 5 shows a Middle Bakken top structure map in which the contours are at 100 feet. And then I've also highlighted the type log that we will be using, which is the Nordstog. And then in the Middle Bakken in this area, in these spacing units, has a subsea TVD of about 6350 to 6520, dipping about 0.6 degrees to the south.
And the next exhibit, Exhibit 6, once again, identify and briefly discuss what's contained upon it.
Sure. Exhibit 6 is a cross-section across these proposed spacing units of 3 different wells in which I am displaying the entire section and reservoir interval, showing continuous reservoir across the spacing units.
And then Exhibit 7.
Exhibit 7 is our type log, as mentioned before, the Nordstog, which shows both our target intervals, which is the Middle Bakken, which is labeled in A, which is about 65 feet thick in this area, and then also the upper Three Forks, labeled B on the exhibit, which is about 20 feet thick.
No further questions for the geologic witness.
Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Kim, are you still there? There you are.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to Exhibit 8. Can you tell us what Exhibit 8 is, and then just briefly describe what's contained upon it?
Yes, so Exhibit 8 shows our potential planned wells for these 2 spacing units, including the lease line well, which you can see right there in the middle. We have a maximum number of wells, which is a Three Forks Middle Bakken wine rack style design with 2 pads coming off of the north side of each unit. So we will drill these from north to south. And we have 6 proposed Middle Bakken laterals and 6 proposed Three Forks bench laterals and 1 section line well with 500-foot setbacks on either side of the easternmost and westernmost DSUs.
Okay, and then Exhibit 9.
Yeah, so this shows our wellbore diagram. Right now we're using our most recently drilled and completed well, the Wildcat Hollow, that is off to the east as reference, although these wells are a little bit shallower in nature. So the depths are corrected to that. These are going to be 3-mile laterals with as many as 105 stages to 80 stages, depending on our results that we'll see in flowback for the Wildcat Hollow.
And Exhibit 10.
Yes, so this shows our Middle Bakken, both parent and child economics. So we'll have a mix of wells that are going to be next to parent wells. So we might expect some depletion from these child wells. So that is the the lower right-hand chart shows the lowest EUR at about 511. And for child wells that are not directly next to parents, we have EURs as high as 602, showing a range of IRRs from 16 to 45% and payouts between 49 and 19 months.
All right, and then Exhibit 11.
So the only difference between these 2 charts is the properties on the left-hand side for net pay porosity and water saturation, showing the oil in place and recovery factors between the Middle Bakken and Three Forks. So the prior slide shows Middle Bakken. These slides show Three Forks. As of now, we don't have any significant difference between the EURs projected for the Middle Bakken and Three Forks. And right now, the EURs for the parent and child cases are the same.
And Exhibit 12, is that a gas capture affidavit that the commission typically requires in these sorts of matters?
Yes, sir.
And in your opinion, will the requested relief prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Mr. Examiner. We'd offer the exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Kim, looking at your Exhibit 8 and the caption for the case, the caption currently indicates not to exceed 4 wells per 1920. It would look like what you have on Exhibit 8 is about 5 wells per 1920. So if you need that 5th well or plan to develop like this, you'll have to also put in increased density on the 1920s, I think.
Yes, sir. I think I must have misread the original description. This would represent the max number of wells and not necessarily the actual plan. It really depends on the results that we see from the current wells that we're completing. So I don't imagine we'll actually drill 5 wells within each spacing unit here.
Okay, I think under the caption, we'd only be able to approve up to 4 on each 1920.
Yes.
With that plan, would you plan to develop both Middle Bakken and Three Forks when you do come into these spacing units?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Kim, on Exhibit 8, based on your comments to Mr. Suggs, can you supplement the record with an Exhibit 8 that shows if you're only going to drill 4 wells, what that looks like?
Yes.
Okay. And then it's not that unusual at going west. I don't see any lease line well applications currently or in the past. Why a lease line well here?
We just feel like with the spacing, we can take advantage of the lease line in this case, especially with the existing development in the area. We do want to try to retain as much offset as possible from, Three Fork to Three Fork and Middle Bakken to Middle Bakken formation.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence, is March 5th long enough to keep the record open?
Yeah, that'll be sufficient.
The record will remain open in this case until March 5th. That concludes hearing for case number 32608. Case number 32609, application of Formentera Operations LLC for an order amending the field rules for the Black Slough Block in Poole, Burke County, North Dakota as follows. 1. Create and establish 5 25-60-acre space units comprised of sections 18, 19, 30, and 31, sections 17, 20, 29, and 32, sections 16, 20, 21, 28, and 33, sections 15, 22, 27, and 34, and sections 14, 23, 26, and 35. All in Township 162 North, Greens 93 West, authorizing the drilling of a total not to exceed 6 horizontal wells on said proposed 25-60-acre spacing units. And 2, create and establish 4 overlapping 20-acre spacing units comprised of sections 17, 18, 19, 20, 29, 30, 31, and 32, sections 16, 17, 20, 21, 28, 29, 32, and 33, sections 15, 16, 21, 22, 27, 28, 33, and 34, and sections 14, 15, 22, 23, 26, 27, 34, and 35, all in Township 162 North, Greens 93 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units on each proposed overlapping 51 20-acre spacing unit, and or such further relief. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Lawrence Bender, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in case 32609 on behalf of Formentera Operations, LLC. We'll have a different land witness in this case, but geology and engineering will be the same witnesses as in the previous case.
Ms. Brigham,
Yes.
you solemnly swear affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
Rachel, state your full name for the record, please.
It's Rachel Brigham,
And Rachel, by whom are you employed?
Formentera Operations.
In what capacity?
I'm a landman.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness out of an expert.
Motion granted.
Rachel, let's turn to the packet of exhibits for case 32609. Let's skip the cover page and the table of contents and go right to exhibit 1. And as the witnesses have done in the previous case, identify exhibit 1 and then briefly discuss what's contained upon it.
Yeah, as mentioned, we're applying for 5 2560-acre units. So this is just a regional map showing where they lie within Burke County, and then we have the 4 overlapping 5120-acre units, and that's kind of shown here also.
And what is the township that these lands are in?
They're in 162 North, 93 West.
Okay, let's go on then to exhibit 2. As you did with exhibit 1, identify, briefly discuss what's contained on the exhibit.
Yeah, this map is a bit more zoomed in and focuses on Formentera's proposed units. They're highlighted there in red, hatching. And then just a few other things to note here. The orange indicates previously approved 19 20-acre units in the area, and blue are previously approved 1280s in the area. So just wanted to highlight where our cases fall within the township.
And exhibit 3?
Yeah, moving on to exhibit 3. In this visual, we have 2 of the units of focus in our working interest. So kind of moving west to east, 18, 19, 30, and 31, Formentera's working interest on the 2560 is about 55%, and our working interest in 17, 20, 29, and 32 is about 54%.
Exhibit 4?
In Exhibit 4, we're looking at sections 16, 21, 28, and 33, and Formentera's working interest is about 45%. And then moving east again, in sections 15, 22, 27, and 34, our working interest is about 49%.
And exhibit 5?
This is our last unit, or at least of the 2560s. This consists of sections 14, 23, 26, and 35, and our working interest in this unit is about 17.6%.
And in those situations, well, we'll just continue and I can ask that question a little bit. Let's go to exhibit 6. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, this is the first look at our overlapping 5120-acre units. So moving west to east again, this consists of 17, 18, 19, 20, 29, 30, 31, and 32, and Formentera's working interest is about 54% in this unit. And then moving east in 17, 16, 20, 21, 29, 28, 32, and 33, Formentera's working interest is about 49%.
Excuse me. And then exhibit 7.
Yep, these are our last 2 5120-acre units. So moving east, this consists of 15, 16, 21, 22, 27, 28, and 33 and 34. Our working interest is about 54%. And then moving east to the last 5120-acre unit, Formentera's working interest is about 33% in this last one.
And in those situations where Formentera has less than a majority interest, will Formentera work with other non-operators in the area to determine who should be the operator?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for this witness, Mr. Examiner.
Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Okay, Walker, exhibit 8.
Yeah, exhibit 8 shows a Middle Bakken structure map over these spacing units. The contour interval displayed is 100 feet. We are seeing about a subsea TVD of 5620 to 6120, and the formation is dipping from north to south about 0.7 degrees.
And exhibit 9.
Exhibit 9 shows a cross-section across these spacing units. This displays the entire section as well as the reservoir interval, showing that it is present throughout the units.
And exhibit 10.
Exhibit 10 shows our type log. which is the BHP1 M35. This shows our targeted intervals, the Middle Bakken Formation, which is highlighted in pink and labeled A, which is about 60-foot thick, and the Upper Three Forks, which is highlighted in purple, labeled B, which is about 25 feet thick.
No further questions of the geologic witness.
Any questions from staff? You can proceed.
Okay. Kim, Exhibit 11.
Yeah, this shows our 2560 and overlapping 5120 units. This shows a maximum of 6 wells per spacing unit plus a lease line well for the 5120 in a Middle Bakken Three Forks stacked wine wreck style design with 2 pads coming off from the north. We plan to drill these wells north to south for 4 miles.
And just so we're clear for the record, this is one of the 5120s. It's comprised of 18, 19, 30, 31, and 17, 20, 29, and 32. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go on then to Exhibit 12.
Yes, similar to the prior, we also have here 2 2560s and the overlapping 5120 in sections 17, 20, 29, 32. And sections 16, 21, 28, and 33. We have here a Middle Bakken Three Forks alternating wine rack style design, again with 2 pads coming off from the north. We do intend to drill off unit for both of these wells from north to south for 4 miles.
And Exhibit 13.
Yes, so this shows, again, the same exact design, same exact pad locations, alternating Middle Bakken Three Forks with the lease line in the middle, 2 2560s and the overlapping 5120 in sections 16, 21, 28, 33, and sections 15, 22, 27, and 34.
And Exhibit 14.
Finally, we have the last 22 2560s and overlapping 5120, sections 15, 22, 27, and 34, and sections 14, 23, 26, and 25. This shows, again, the maximum design of 6 Middle Bakken and 6 Three Forks for both units with a lease line in the middle, pads coming off from the north in the exact same locations, drilling 4 miles north to south. In this well, in this final DSU, we have Madison well in section 35. We do intend to look at that well and make sure that we are appropriately offsetting it, although it is further up section.
Okay, and then let's go to Exhibit 15. As you've done with the previous exhibits, identify the exhibit and discuss what's contained upon it.
Yes, so this shows our design for the 4 mile lateral with a total depth of 29,500 feet. We intend to plug and perf with between 120 to 95 stages in these wells, depending on offsets and recent results that we see in the area. This is using wellbore details from the recently drilled and completed LAR 1 wells that are off to the west. Although the depths are a little bit different, we do have very good well control in the area.
And the next exhibit, Exhibit 16.
Yes, this shows the average reservoir properties for the Middle Bakken and expected results with the expected and optimal working interest in NRIs. We expect an EUR of around 700 for the 4 mile lateral, with IRRs of 39% and payout of 23 months.
And Exhibit 17.
Yes, similar to the prior slide, the only difference here would be the net pay porosity, water saturation, and oil in place between the 2 reservoirs and resulting recovery factor. The other difference here that exists that we see in this area is the GOR of the Three Forks is generally higher than the Middle Bakken. So there's a GOR of 2.2 in the Middle Bakken and a GOR of 2.4 in the Three Forks. Otherwise, all other factors are the same.
And Exhibit 18, is that a gas capture affidavit that the commission typically requires in these sorts of matters?
Yes.
And in your opinion, will the requested relief prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, sir.
No further questions. Offer the exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32609. Case number 32610. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken to establish a stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit comprising sections 13, 24, 25, and 36, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, authorizing up to 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in said unit and or such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties please come forward.
Yes, Mr. Examiner Aaron Bieber, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. Once again, we have our witnesses, Mr. Crook, Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Shivy.
And you can proceed whenever you're ready.
All right, Tom. Are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to this application 32610?
Yes.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the land exhibits?
Yes.
All right. Tom, using Exhibit L1, can you identify and locate the proposed units on the broad background that's the subject of this application, please?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed unit, which we call Strongman, outlined in red in Burke County, 162 North, 93 West, sections 13, 24, 25, 36.
And Tom, turning to Exhibit 2, can you describe the spacing unit subject of this application using L2?
Sure. Again, this shows our unit outlined in red with the existing wells in there, all plugged and abandoned. And then Phoenix's working interest showing at the bottom at 68.5%, including a pending deal with another operator.
And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
Yes, we will.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of these exhibits?
I did.
No further questions for land witness, and move to admit the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Topher, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing unit for 32610?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, exhibits G1 and G2.
Okay, using G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken underlying the spacing unit, please?
Yeah, G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale in subsurface TDD with a contour interval of 20 feet. The structure in this area is dipping to the southwest. In addition to the structure lines, there's a red outline for our proposed 2560 spacing unit. And the gold line is a 2-well cross-section from A to A prime, and the type log that we're using for this is the A well.
All right, thank you. Flipping to G2. Can you identify the type log and describe the contents of the log in the cross section, please?
Yeah, the upper portion is a 2-well cross section. The logs plotted are basic triple combo gamma ray resistivity porosity. The black lines represent our generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Bakken system is present in the subsurface. Middle Bakken here is about 55-60 feet thick, and we typically drill our wells to the lower portion of the Middle Bakken. The type well is the REBNY 11-7H. That's the A well on the left. And the lower table are the petrophysical data from that REBNY well that we use in the next exhibit, center volumetrics.
Okay, and is the middle Bakken present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for geology witness, and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Mr. Chivy, are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with docket number 32610?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
Okay, using exhibit E1, please describe Phoenix proposed wellbore diagram for the proposed spacing unit, please.
Certainly, this is our 3-string standard casing design we use in the Williston Basin. 4.5-inch liner. There's cemented in place, completed via plug and perf.
Okay, turning to E2, exhibit E2. Describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this proposed spacing unit, please.
Sure. We're depicting the 5 wells in unit. These would be set back east-west 550 feet. I'd leave again about approximately 1,045 feet between wells or sticks, and we would plan to batch drill and complete these.
Do you have a proposed or idea of when this is on the drill schedule?
Actually, Aaron, to answer that truthfully, the next 6 exhibits we'll be going through cases are all in this area. Once we determine, what's DSUs we would be, awarding and everything, we would be putting these in a drill schedule. But directly answer your question, this would probably be at the earliest, I'd say Q3 of next year or Q4 of next year.
Great.
They're not on our direct drill schedule as it sits now.
And flipping to exhibit E3, can you describe the economics of the wells in this proposed spacing unit?
Sure. As in previous exhibits, I've described the ARPS parameters to yield a 650 MBO well for the 4 milers in this area. Average GOR is about 1,000 SCF per barrel. And with the 5 wells, we're estimating about a 13% recovery factor in this area. And then below are the gross economics. Again, I'm running at $65 West Texas Intermediate flat, $3.50 Henry Hub gas, a DNC cost of approximately $11.76 million, and the royalty rate we assume for to get to gross economics is 20%. So total operating cost over the life of the well, $5.8 million, PV10 of approximately $5.5 million, yields an internal rate of return of 34%. Undiscounted return on investment of 2.0, and an undiscounted payout of approximately 2.15 years.
All right, Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights protected, and waste prevented?
Yes, I do.
And is exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified by Tom?
Yes, that's correct.
No further questions for engineering witness, and move to admit the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eric, if I missed it on your exhibit E2, where's the surface location?
That's a fair question. As this is an area we're just looking at exploring, we have some multiple options here. We really don't know yet if we're going to be drilling north to south or south to north. It'll, lack of a better word, just depend on how all these puzzle pieces fit together for us, so we can kind of minimize surface disturbance, set up like midstream and all that, along a common corridor as close as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
That concludes the hearing for case number 32610. Case number 32528. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560-acre spacing unit described as sections 1 and 12, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 25 and 36, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit. We're going to consider relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
The SRB Beaver, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. We have the same three witnesses as our previous cases.
Yep. They're still under oath. You can proceed.
All right, Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters involved with this proposed spacing unit subject to the application 32528?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or cause to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes.
Okay, using Exhibit L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background that's subject to this application?
Yes. L1 shows our proposed spacing unit outlined in red, which we call Manning. It spans between 163 North, 93 West, sections 25 and 36, and sections 1 and 12 of 163 North, 92 West. Sorry.
Is it?
The map is a little...
Okay,
93 West. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm just...
All right, Tom, exhibit...
In Burke County. Thank you.
Exhibit L2.
L2. Yes. L2 shows the same unit outlined in red. One plugged-in abandoned well is all that's there. And Phoenix's interest at the bottom there at 43.7%.
All right, Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
We will indeed.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
I did.
No further questions for the land witness, and move to admit the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Topher, are you familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing unit in this matter?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or cause to be prepared these geology exhibits.
Yes, I have.
Using G1, please describe the structure of the middle block and underlying this spacing unit, please.
G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TBD with a contour interval of 20 feet. The structure in this area is dipping to the southwest. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit. It's just north of the spacing unit from the previous case, 32610. The gold line is a two-well cross-section, A to A prime, and the type log that we're using is the A well in the northeast.
And is the spacing unit identified, outlined in red in G1?
Yes.
Okay, flipping to G2. You please identify the type log, describe its content. So the type log in the cross-section.
Yeah, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a two-well cross-section, A to A prime. The type well is the well on the left, the Redney 11-7H. It's the same one that we used in 32610. The logs are your basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity, and the black lines represent the generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the middle Bakken is present throughout the area, and it's around 55-60 feet thick. The table on the bottom is a summation of the reservoir properties that we use in the next exhibits and for our volumetrics. And again, that's from the Redney 11-7H.
And so the reservoir characteristics for the proposed spacing unit are shown on Exhibit 2?
Correct.
Is the middle Bakken present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for the geology witness, and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Proceed.
All right, Eric, are you personally familiar with engineering matters associated with requested spacing unit in this application?
I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
Okay, using Exhibit E1, please describe Phoenix proposed wellbore diagram for the wells in this proposed spacing unit.
Sure. This is our three-string standard casing design, just as I was shown in the previous case, 32610.
Right. Flipping to E2, please describe Phoenix proposed development plan for
Yes.
this proposed unit.
Sure. This is as in the previous case as well, planning 5 wells to be batch drilled and completed simultaneously. And I think as Mr. Lewis said, I'd like to add this is just north of that previous case, 32610. So this is a situation like, if we can drill these wells south to north in the previous case, north to south, we can use a common pad location, and maybe also we drill SWD for disposals on pads, so we can really get some efficiencies and reduce cost if we do a development like that.
And the hypothetical pad would be at the north of the.
It would be probably at the south of 12.
parking.
And again, we're just outlining all this and stuff, but that's the type of stuff we try to think about.
Right.
Minimizing the surface disturbance and drawing from common pads.
So Phoenix would intend to batch drill these wells?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Eric, flipping to Exhibit E3, can you please discuss the economics for the wells in this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, sure. The economics are really identical to the previous 32610 case, 650 MBO EUR per well, 13% recovery factor, and again, a D&C cost of just under 12 million is assumed, internal rate of return of 34%. Again.
All right. And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, relative rights protected, and waste be prevented?
Yes, I do.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified by Mr. Crook?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our engineering witness, and move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32528. Case number 32529. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 2 and 11, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 26 and 35, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Aaron Bieber, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. Same witnesses.
You can proceed.
All right. Mr. Crook, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to this proposed spacing unit in application 32529?
Yes.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
Okay, Tom, using L1, please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the brown background.
Sure. L1 is our proposed unit outlined in red, spanning between 163 North 93 West and 162 North 93 West, sections 26 and 35, and 2 and 11. In Burke County, this unit, we call it our Montana unit, which I will assure the board has less to do with a state and more to do with a particular athlete, as you'll see as we talk about the next few cases.
Okay. Tom, using L2, would you please describe the spacing unit subject to this application along with Phoenix working interest in the unit?
Sure. L2 shows our unit again outlined in red with nothing but a couple of plugged and abandoned wells. And at the bottom there, Phoenix's current interest at 41.9%. There's still about 28% unleased there. And in case you ask, we are pursuing that as well.
Great, thank you. And Tom, will Phoenix work with and cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed space units if approved for drilling?
We will, yes.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
I did.
No further questions for the land witness, and move to admit the land exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Topher, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested space units that is subject to application 32529?
Yes, I am.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes, exhibits G1 and G2.
All right. Looking at G1, can you please describe the structure in the middle block and underlying the spacing unit, please?
Yes, G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TVD with a contour interval of 20 feet. In this area, the structure is dipping to the southwest. It's the same structure map from the previous two cases. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit just to the west of the last hearing. And the gold line is a 2-well cross-section from A to A prime. And the type log, again, is the A well up in the northeast.
All right, flipping to Exhibit G2. Please identify the type log and describe the contents of the type log and also the cross section, please.
Yeah, G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross section. The logs plotted are basic triple combo, gamma ray resistivity and porosity. Black lines represent the generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Bakken system is present in the subsurface and about 55 to 60 feet thick. Our target here is the middle Bakken, and we generally steer for the middle to lower portion of the middle Bakken. The lower table is the petrophysical data from the type well, which again is a Redney 11-7H, same as the previous two cases. And this is the data that was used in the volumetrics and the economics in the next engineering exhibits.
All right. And is the middle Bakken present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness, and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Eric, you're personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with the requested spacing unit in this docket?
Yes, I am.
And you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
Okay, on E1, can you describe Phoenix proposed wellbore diagram for this spacing unit, please?
Yes, this again is identical 3-string well design we use in the Williston Basin. 4.5-inch liner cemented in place.
Turning to E2, can you describe, please, Phoenix proposed development plan for this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, as in previous two cases, we would plan to batch drill and complete these 5 wells, 550 foot east-west lateral setbacks. And again, as Mr. Crook even alluded to, this is just west of the previous case, 32528. You'll see a pattern lining up as we present these. So just to the west of the previous format proposal.
And turning to E3, Exhibit E3, can you discuss the well economics for these wells in this proposed unit?
Sure. This is identical economics and reserves is 3258 or 32528. Excuse me. 650,000 barrels of oil for a 4-mile lateral, with the 5 wells that yields a 13% rate of return. And again, the economics are identical. 34% rate of return is calculated.
And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights protected, and waste prevented?
Yes, I do.
Is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously tested to by Mr. Crook?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for engineering witness, and move to admit the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Concludes our hearing for case number 32529. Case number 32530, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560-acre spacing unit described in sections 3 and 10, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 27 and 34, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Aaron Beaver, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC, same witnesses as their previous.
You can proceed.
Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to this proposed spacing, or this proposed spacing unit in this application?
Yes.
If you're prepared or caused to be prepared, the exhibits for this hearing.
Yes.
All right, turning to L1, Exhibit L1, please identify and locate the proposed unit on the broad background that's subject to the application, please.
L1 shows our proposed unit, which we call Brady, up in this same area, 163 North, 93 West, sections 27 and 34, and 162 North, 93 West, sections 3 and 10 in Burke County.
All right, turning to Exhibit L2, please describe the spacing unit that's subject to this application as depicted.
Yes, L2 shows our unit, proposed unit outlined in red with numerous plugged in abandoned wells there, nothing else. And Phoenix's current working interest percentage at 46.9. And we show at this point about 39% unleased, and we are pursuing that as well.
All
and
right.
we will work with other operators in the area.
Okay. And did you execute the gas capture affidavit? That's Exhibit E4.
Yes, I did.
No further questions for our land witness, and move to admit the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
All right, Mr. Lewis, you are personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing units in 32530.
Yes, I am.
Can you prepare your cause to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
Yes, I have. G1 and G2.
On G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken underlying this spacing unit?
Yes, G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TVD with a contour interval of 20 feet, very similar to the map from the previous 3 cases. The structure in the area is dipping to the southwest, and the red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit just west of the previous 2 cases. The gold line is a 2-well cross-section, A to A prime, highlighting the type well that we'll reference in the next exhibit.
And turning to Exhibit G2, can you identify the type log and describe the context of the type log and the cross-section, please?
Yes, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross-section, A to A prime. The curves that are plotted, basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, and porosity. Black lines represent the generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Middle Bakken system is present in the subsurface, and it's 55 to 60 feet thick. The volumetric table at the bottom is from the REBNY 11-7H. That's the left well with the 2 wells in the upper portion. And it's the data from that well that we use in the volumetrics and the economics in the next engineering exhibits.
And Topher, is the Middle Bakken formation present and continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for a geology witness, and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Eric, you're personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with the requesting spacing unit in this docket, correct?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or cause to be prepared the exhibits of this for this hearing?
I have.
On E1, can you describe Phoenix proposed wellbore diagram for the proposed spacing unit?
Yes, again, this is our standard 3-string design we use in the Williston Basin, identical to previous cases.
Turning to E2, can you please describe Phoenix proposed development plan for this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, again, this proposed DSU is just directly west of the previous case. Again, we would plan to batch drill and complete these 5 wells. Spacing would be offset 550 from the east and west lines for the western and eastern wells proposed in this DSU.
And Phoenix intends to batch drill these
Yes,
wells?
that's correct.
Okay. On Exhibit E3, can you discuss the economics of the wells for this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, that's these 2 tables are identical to the previous 3 or 4 cases we've heard in this area. Incidentally, we call this area Beaver Lake. 650,000 barrels of oil recovered per well, 13% recovery factor, and again, it's about a 34% rate of return realized internally.
And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, relative rights protected, and waste prevented?
Yes, I do.
And E4 is a gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Tom?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no further questions for our engineering witness, and move to admit the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32530. Case number 32531, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560 acre space unit described as sections 4-9, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 28 and 33, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, unauthorized 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit. The granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Aaron Bieber, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC in this matter.
You can proceed.
Right. Mr. Crook, you're personally familiar with land matters that are subject to this proposed spacing unit and docket number 32531?
I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
All right. Looking at L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background subject to this application?
Yes, L1 shows our proposed unit outlined in red in the same area, Beaver Lake, spanning between 163 North, 93 West, sections 28 and 33, and 162 North, 93 West, sections 4 and 9. We call this unit our Eli unit in Burke County.
All right, flipping to L2, please briefly describe the spacing unit depicted along with Phoenix's working interest in the proposed spacing unit.
Sure. Again, outlined in red is our unit. No active wells there at all. And at the bottom there, our working interest at 39.3%. And yes, we are actively looking to lease more there.
Do we have an idea of what the percentage of unleased interest is, at least an approximation?
Yeah, about 54%.
Great. And Tom, Phoenix, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
Yes, we will.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled as Exhibit E4?
Yes, I did.
Exhibits? No further questions for our land witness, and move to admit the land exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Tom, you indicate this includes a pending deal with another operator. So I assume there's no wells drilled in here, so it's just another working interest owner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you're personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing unit that's the subject of this application 32531?
Yes, I am.
Can you prepare or cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
All right, flipping to G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken underlying the spacing units?
Yeah, G1 is a structure map of the Upper Bakken Shale and subsurface TBD, contour interval of 20 feet. Very similar to the previous 4 cases. The structure in this area is dipping to the southwest. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit, and the gold line is the 2-well cross-section highlighting the type well A in the northeast that we use in the next exhibit.
All right, is there a line on your exhibit that identifies the cross-section there on the G1?
Yes, A to A prime, including a call out on the type log.
Thank you. Turning to G2, can you identify the type log, describe its contents, and also the cross-section, please?
Yeah, the upper portion, so exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross-section. The logs plotted are basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, and porosity. Black lines represent the generalized stratigraphy in the subsurface, and it illustrates that the Bakken system is present, and it's around 55 to 60 feet thick. Our target here, again, is the Middle Bakken, and our optimal steering zone is usually to the middle lower portion of the Middle Bakken. The data from the REBNY 11-7H, which is the type log for this exhibit, is summarized in the table at the bottom, and that's what's used in the economics and the next engineering exhibits.
And Topher, is the Middle Bakken present continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
I have no further questions for our geology witness and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Eric, you are personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with this application, correct?
I am.
You prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
All right. On E1, can you please briefly describe the wellbore diagram for Phoenix's proposed spacing unit?
Yes, this is identical to the previous cases, our standard 3-string design but using the Williston Basin.
Thank you. On E2, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for the proposed spacing unit?
Yes, this is identical to the previous cases in this Beaver Lake area. This DSU, proposed DSU, is just directly west of the previous 32530 case. We would plan to batch drill and complete these.
Great. Turning to Exhibit E3, can you discuss the well economics for this proposed spacing unit?
And yeah, again, this is identical to the previous cases. In this area, 650,000 barrels of oil recovered per 4-mile lateral. That yields a DSU recovery factor of 13%. Again, the internal rate of return of 34% is noted in the table below.
All right, thank you. Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights protected, and waste be prevented?
I do.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit testified to by Ms. Crook?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no further questions for engineering witness and move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32531. Case number 32532, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560-acre space unit described as sections 5 and 8, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 29 and 32, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Bieber, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC.
You can proceed.
All right, Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to this proposed spacing unit?
Yes,
Have you prepared a cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
On L1, can you please identify and locate the spacing unit on the broad background that's the subject of this application, 32532?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed unit outlined in red, just to the west of the previous case. Sections 29 and 32 of 163 North, 93 West, going down to sections 5 and 8 in 162 North, 93 West. We call this one our Merino unit in Burke County.
And on L2, can you describe the spacing unit subject to this application that's depicted?
Yes, L2 shows our unit again outlined in red with nothing but 2 plugged in abandoned wells and our interest down at the bottom there with a pending deal at 44.7%.
And again, it says operator, but that's you have a pending deal with another working interest owner. There's no operated wells in this unit.
Correct.
Okay. And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in this proposed unit if approved for drilling?
Yes, we will.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit on E4? Exhibit E4?
I did.
No further questions for a land witness and move for admission of the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying this requested spacing unit that's subject to this application 32532?
Yes, I am.
Can you prepared or cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
All right, on G1, can you please describe the structure of the middle block underlying this spacing unit?
Yeah, Exhibit G1 is a structure map in the Upper Bakken Shale subsurface TBD with a contour interval of 20 feet. It's identical to the structure map that's been used in the previous 5 cases, and the structure in the area is dipping to the southwest. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit for this case, and the gold line represents the 2-well cross-section, A to A prime, and illustrating the type log, the A well in the northeast, same as the previous 5 cases.
Thanks. And turning to G2, is similar to the previous cases also. Identify the type log and describe the contents of the type log in the cross-section briefly.
Yes, G2 upper portion is a 2-well cross-section, A to A prime. Logs plotted are from a basic triple combo, gamma ray resistivity porosity. Black lines represent our generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Middle Bakken system is present in the subsurface, and it's about 55 to 60 feet thick. Once again, our target is the Middle Bakken, and the table from the same type well as the previous 5, the Rebney 11-7H, is summarized in the table below, and it's used for our volumetrics and economics in the next exhibits.
Great. And is the Middle Bakken present continuous across this entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness and move to admit the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Mr. Shivy, are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with this proposed spacing unit in this application?
Yes, I am.
Can you prepare the cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
Okay. On E1, can you just describe Phoenix wellbore diagram for this spacing unit?
Yes, this wellbore diagram is identical to the previous 5 cases heard in this area.
Okay. And flipping to E2, Phoenix proposed development plan for the proposed spacing unit, please describe.
Yes, this shows the 5 wells we would be plan to drill in this DSU. Batch drilled and completed. To the east is just the previous case that was heard, 32531. And again, as in my other cases, there's been no Bakken or Three Forks production in these DSU proposes.
Okay, thank you. And on E3, describe the well economics for this proposed spacing unit, please.
Yes, briefly, this is identical to the other five cases, 650,000 barrels of oil recovered per well and the 34% realized internal rate of return.
And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights protected, and waste prevented?
Yes, I believe so.
And E4 is the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook.
That's correct.
No further questions for our engineering witness, and move to admit the engineering exhibits, please.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes the hearing for case number 32532. Case number 32533. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 6 and 7, Township 162 North, Range 93 West, and sections 30 and 31, Township 163 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit to grant each other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Mr. Examiner, Aaron Beaver, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC, same 3 witnesses as previous.
You can proceed.
Mr. Crook, you're personally familiar with the land matters subject to this application 32533.
Yes.
Be prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
All right, on L1, can you identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed unit outlined in red, which we call FARV, moving west across the gridiron from the previous cases in the Beaver Lake area in Burke County.
In Exhibit L2, please describe the spacing unit along with Phoenix's working interest.
L2 shows this unit outlined in red with no existing wells, and the Phoenix interest at 37.2%, pending with another working interest owner.
Okay. And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
We will.
Did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
I did.
I have no further questions for our land witness and move to admit the land exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying this requested spacing unit in application 32533?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
Using G1, Exhibit G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken underlying this particular spacing unit?
Sure. Exhibit G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale subsurface TVD with a contour interval of 20 feet, very similar to the previous 6 exhibits. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit. Structure is dipping like the previous ones to the southwest. In addition, the gold line is a 2-well cross section, A to A prime, highlighting the type log that we'll use in the next exhibits.
And turning to G2, can you please identify the type log and describe its contents and along with the cross section?
Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross section, A to A prime. The log curves plotted are basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, and porosity. Black lines represent our generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Bakken system is present and consistent throughout the subsurface, around 55 to 60 feet thick. Our target here again, Middle Bakken, and the lower table is a summation of the data from the REBNY 11-7H, which is the well on the left in the cross section. And that's the data that we use for our volumetrics and our economics in the next engineering exhibits.
And Tobar, I think you just said this, but the Middle Bakken is present and continuous across this entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness and moved for admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions for the staff? From the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Chevy, you are personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with this particular spacing unit in application 32533, correct?
Yes, I am.
And you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for the hearing?
I have.
Okay, on E1, please describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram.
Yes, again, this is identical to the previous 6 cases heard in this Beaver Lake area, a 3-string casing design.
Thank you. On E2, can you briefly describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, this is directly west of the proposed DSU we just heard, 32532. Again, this is a 2560 with 5 wells proposed in unit to be batch drilled and completed.
And turning to Exhibit E3, can you describe the proposed or estimated well economics in this proposed spacing unit?
Yes, again, this table is identical to the previous 6 cases, 650,000 barrels of oil recovered per well, and, a DSU recovery factor of 13%, internal rate of return of 34%.
Great. Eric, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights protected, and waste prevented?
Yes, I believe so. And like the previous 6 cases, there's been no Bakken Three Forks development up in these lands.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Krug?
Yes, that's correct.
We have no further questions for our engineering witness and move for admission of the engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32533. Case number 32611, application of Devon Energy Williston LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32611. Case number 32612, application of Devon Energy Williston LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32612. Case number 32514, application of Valkyrie Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32514. Case number 32253, application of Silver Hill Energy Operating LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32253. Case number 32332, application of SOGC LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32332. Case number 32403, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32403.
It's unmuted.
Case number 32404, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32404. Case number 32613, application of Prima Exploration Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32613. Case number 32614, application of Prima Exploration Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32614. Case number 32375, application of White Rock Oil and Gas LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32375. Case number 32615, application of Prima Exploration Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32615. Case number 32616, application of White Rock Oil and Gas LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32616. Case number 32617, application of White Rock Oil and Gas LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32617. Case number 32490, application of White Rock Oil and Gas LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Grassy, Butte, Bach, and Poole, McKenzie County, North Dakota to 1. Extend the field outline to include the west half and northeast quarter of section 17 and all of sections 18 and 19, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, within the Grassy, Butte, Bach, and Poole. 2. Establish 3 stand-up 2560 acre spacing units described as sections 16, 21, 28, and 33, sections 17, 20, 29, and 32, and sections 18, 19, 30, and 31, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on each such unit, or 3 granting such relief as may be appropriate. I will note that the request for 2560 acre spacing units consisting of sections 16, 21, 28, and 33 and 18, 19, 30, and 31, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, have been withdrawn from this application. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of White Rock Oil and Gas, LLC. 3 witnesses testifying in this case. It'll be Chad Santorbi, Zach Swaney, and Jacob Hartgroves.
Mr. Santorbi.
You guys are muted.
How about now?
Now we're good.
Mr. Santorbi?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Chad, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed and what capacity, and give us your business address?
My name is Chad Santorbi. I'm employed by White Rock Oil and Gas LLC as their land manager. Business address is 5810 Tennyson Parkway, Suite 500, Plano, Texas 75024.
And Chad, have you previously testified before this commission?
I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with the land matters that are associated with the spacing unit you're requesting?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Santorbi be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Chad, let's start with L1. Can you identify the 2560 that you're requesting today?
Yes, sir. L1 is our regional locator map showing Township 14699 being located in the southeast area of McKenzie County, North Dakota. Zoomed in, shows the 4 sections stand up within Township 14699 being sections 17, 20, 29, and 32, comprising of 2,560 acres.
Okay. Let's move on to L2 then. Take us through your working interest in that proposed spacing unit.
Sure. L2, White Rock controls 71.875% working interest of the 2,560 acre spacing unit. We got Burlington with 12.5% and a handful of others with the remaining 15.625%.
Okay. And Chad, I think White Rock's looking to develop this near term. Or do you want to address any timing related issues, or will that be with Jacob later on?
I can address them now. Yeah, we've submitted the APD for the initial well in the spacing unit to the NDIC. We should have the BLM APD. We're waiting on a cultural report to be submitted any day now. And then estimated spud dates around August time frame. So that's why we would propose for an expedited ruling if possible.
Sure. I have no further questions for Mr. Santorbi. I'd offer the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Okay.
Chad, why did you withdraw the other 2 spacing units?
We had them all on one application before there was some questions from Prima on I believe they saw our applications, they submitted some overlapping ones, and I don't know if it's just procedural, making it easier to edit and separate them all out. And then they were unable to make this hearing, so the other 2, we're still going forward with the other 2 spacing units, but they're contested, so they were moved to the March hearing. Since we're drilling this unit up this year, we wanted to make sure, since it was uncontested, we want to make sure we got it heard as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Swaney.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Zach, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed in what capacity, and give us your business address?
My name is Zach Swaney.
I'm employed by White Rock Oil and Gas LLC as chief geologist. The address is 5810 Tennyson Parkway, Suite 500, Plano, Texas 75024.
And Zach, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, I have.
And have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes,
And are you familiar with the geology underlying the proposed spacing unit?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Sweeney be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Zach, let's start with G1. Can you just describe for us the geology structure underlying the proposed spacing unit?
Yeah, so this is a structure map subsea drawn on the Upper Bakken Shale member, showing relatively gentle 20 to 40 foot per mile dip to the northeast.
Okay. And then let's move on to G2 and let's go through that isopac map.
G2 is an isopac map of the Middle Bakken member, showing very consistent thicknesses of 26 to 27 feet across the AOI.
Okay. And then on exhibit G3, you've got a type log. Can you tell us what you're showing on that exhibit?
Yeah, so this type log shows the petrophysical character of the target formation, the Middle Bakken, as well as showing the relative thicknesses of the overlying and underlying units.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Zach, your G1, the existing laterals in the proposed spacing unit, the short laterals, are those all Madison targets?
I believe they are, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hartgroves.
Yes, sir.
Do solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter or any subsequent matter today will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Jacob, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. My name's Jacob Hargroves. I'm employed by White Rock Oil and Gas LLC. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Development, and our address is 5810 Tennyson Parkway, Suite 500, Plano, Texas 75024.
And Jacob, have you previously testified before this commission?
I have not.
Can I have you go ahead and take us through your educational background and relevant work experience?
Sure. I have an engineering degree from Texas A&M University in 2009. I have 17 years of relevant work experience as a petroleum engineer, 11 years with White Rock. Prior to White Rock, I was with Merit Energy and Aethon Energy.
Okay. And Jacob, are you familiar with the engineering matters that are associated with the spacing unit you're asking for today?
I am.
Okay. I'd move the testimony of Mr. Hartgroves be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Jacob, if I can have you look at E1 and just walk us through how you intend to develop this spacing unit.
Sure. Yeah. Looking at E1, we've got a pad on the north side of section 17. We plan to drill 4 horizontal Middle Bakken wells to the south, all the way down to section 32. Easy thing about this, no prior Bakken production in this entire DSU, no depletion concerns.
Okay. Let's look at E2 then. How would you propose to drill and complete these 4 wells?
Sure, this standard 3-string design, surface casing to protect the Fox Hills, then 7-inch casing down through the curve, cemented, and then we'll run a 4.5-inch liner out to TD. We plan to stimulate the well in approximately 100 plus stages. And frack it in the standard slip water frack. We plan on pumping about 20 million pounds of sand.
Okay. Go ahead and move on to E3 then, if you can summarize the reservoir data for us.
Sure. So the Middle Bakken lies about 11,600 feet TBD. It's about 26 feet thick, with an average porosity of about 7%, average water saturation 27%. Like I mentioned, standard kind of Bakken frac. We expect to recover on a per well basis roughly 864,000 barrels of oil.
Okay. And then moving on to E4, what do the economics look like?
Sure. Good economics. These are at $60 and $3.50 gas. And each well is approximately $11.5 million to drill. And we're looking at a close to 60% IRR and a return of our money of our discounted payout in 2.5 years.
Okay. So Jacob, in your opinion, if the commission were to approve this 2560 to allow the drilling of these 4 wells, is that going to prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions that offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32490. Case number 32407, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32407. Case number 32491, application of White Rock Oil and Gas LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32491. Case number 32492, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Butte Bennett Creek Bakken Pool to establish a stand-up 3,200-acre spacing unit described as sections 5 and 8, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, and sections 20, 29, 32, Township 147 North, Range 99 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit or grant such other relief as may be appropriate. I will note that it appears that Kraken is opposing this application, but no one has appeared for Kraken. Are we having the hearing today, or are we pushing it till tomorrow?
That's not my case.
What did we get for opposition?
Kraken's objecting to that.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. We are back on the record with case number 32492. I'll note that due to the opposition in this case, it has been continued to our hearing scheduled for February 27, 2026. That concludes our hearing for case number 32492. Case number 32618, application of Prima Exploration, Inc. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32618. Case number 32619, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. An order amending the applicable orders for the Fortune and Buckle Noonan Bakken pools to establish a stand-up 1920 acre spacing unit comprising section 33, township 163 north, range 93 west, and sections 4 and 9, township 162 north, range 95 west, Divide County, North Dakota. Authorizing up to 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in said unit and or such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Bieber again, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. And we have with us the same 3 witnesses as previous dockets.
And you can proceed.
All right, Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters subject to this proposed spacing application in docket number 32619?
I am.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
On using Exhibit L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background subject to this application?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed unit, which we call Calico, outlined in red in Divide County, spanning between section 33 and 163 north, 95 west, and sections 4 and 9 in 162 north, 95 west.
And Tom, turning to L2, Exhibit L2, can you describe the spacing unit depicted along with Phoenix's working interest in the said spacing unit, please?
Sure. L2 shows our proposed 1,920 acre unit outlined in red with a number of plugged and abandoned wells, no active wells there, and Phoenix's working interest, including a pending deal with other working interest owners at 47.6%.
And I note that L2 says operator, but that is meant to say working interest owner.
Correct.
All right. And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in this proposed spacing unit if it's approved for drilling by the commission?
Yes, we will, Aaron.
And Tom, did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
Yes, I did.
If no further questions of our land witness, and move for admission of the land exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, are you personally familiar with geology underlying this requested spacing unit that's the subject of application 32619?
Yes, I am.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
All right. Looking at Exhibit G1, could you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken Formation underlying this spacing unit?
Yeah, Exhibit G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale and subsurface TVD contour interval of 20 feet. The structure in this area is dipping to the south. The red outline is our proposed 1920 spacing unit, and the gold line to the east of that, A to A prime, is a 2-well cross section, and our type well for this is the A prime well in the south that we explain in the next exhibit.
And moving to that next exhibit, G2, can you please identify the type log and describe the context of the type log and the cross section?
Yeah, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross section. The logs plotted basic triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity. Black lines illustrate the generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Middle Bakken is present in the subsurface and it's about 55 feet thick. Main target here again is Middle Bakken, and the lower table is from the Holt 6-21. That's the well on the right, the A prime, and that's the data that we have summarized in the table that we use for the volumetrics and the economics in the next engineering exhibits.
And Topher, is the Middle Bakken present continuous across the entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness, and move for admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Chivy, are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with this docket number 32619?
Yes, I am.
And you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
On Exhibit E1, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram for the wells in this proposed unit?
Sure. This is our standard 3-string casing design we use in the Bakken. I'll add this is a proposed 3-mile lateral, so the 4.5-inch liner, again cemented in place typically we complete these with 80 to 90 plug-in perf stages.
And turning to E2, can you please identify or describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this proposed unit?
Yes, this is the 19-20 acre spacing unit. The 5 wells depicted there, we would batch drill and complete these. And again, lateral setbacks to the west and east are going to be about 550 feet off the section lines.
And turning to Exhibit E3, can you discuss the well economics for the wells in this proposed unit?
Yes, the ARPS equations, parameters for the equation are listed above in the table. The first 4 lines, GOR is approximately 1,000 SCF per barrel. That yields an EUR of about 475,000 barrels of oil per well. With the 5 wells in the unit, that's approximate recovery factor is 16.7%. The reserves in the second table, again, I'm running at a flat $65 West Texas intermediate price and a $3.50 Henry Hub price. The DNC cost for 3 mallards is about $9.3 million. Assuming a 20% royalty rate, the gross economics yield 22.7 net revenue. OPEX over the life of the well is about 4.5 million. Severance tax 1.8 million yields a net income of 16.3 million. Discounted at 10%, that's $3.7 million. Internal rate return of approximately 31%. Undiscounted return on investment 1.7, and an undiscounted payout of approximately 2.3 years.
Okay, and Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved by the commission, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights of owners be protected, and waste be prevented?
Yes, I do believe so.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our engineering witness, and move for admission of the engineering exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Concludes our hearing for case number 32619. Case number 32620, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Fortune Bakken pool to establish a stand-up 25 60-acre spacing unit comprising sections 13, 24, 25, and 36, Township 163 North, Range 95 West, Divide County, North Dakota, authorizing up to 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in said unit and or such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Bieber, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC. Once again, our 3 witnesses from previous cases.
You can proceed.
Mr. Crook, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to this proposed spacing unit application in case number 32620?
Yes.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
All right. Using Exhibit L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed space unit on the broad background that's subject to this application?
Sure. Exhibit L1 shows our proposed 2,560 acre unit outlined in red in 163 North, 95 West, sections 13, 24, 25, and 36 in Divide County.
And turning to L2, can you please describe the space unit subject to this application along with the working interest owners in these 4 sections?
Sure. L2 again shows our proposed unit outlined in red with just a single plugged in abandoned well in there and nothing else. On the working interest, it shows that Phoenix is currently at 22.51%, and other working interest owners are listed as well, all of them having less than that.
And is it Phoenix's intention to acquire more working interest from some of the owners with lesser working interest shown in this table?
Yes.
And is it Phoenix's intention also to pursue the unleased mineral owners and get them leased?
Yes.
If Phoenix will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in this proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling with in terms of operations and operatorship?
We will.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled as Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
Yes.
No further questions for our land witness, and move for admission of our land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Topher, Are you personally familiar with the geology underlying this requested spacing unit that's subject to application 32620?
Yes, I am.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
Looking at G1, Exhibit G1, please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken underlying spacing unit, please.
Exhibit G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TBD, with a contour interval of 20 feet. On this area, it's dipping to the south. Note that this is just east of the previous case. The red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit, and the gold line from A to A prime is a 2-well cross-section, illustrating A prime is our type log that we'll use in the next exhibit.
And this G1 has a dot label type log there, like the others.
Yeah, it has an arrow calling it out.
Yeah. Moving to G2, can you please identify the type log, describe the type log's contents and the cross-section shown?
Yeah, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross-section, A to A prime. Curves plotted, triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity. Black lines represent the generalized stratigraphy in the area, illustrating that the Middle Bakken is present throughout the area in the subsurface. It's about 55 feet thick. And once again, our planned target in the area is the Middle Bakken. And the lower table is a summation of the petrophysical data from the type well, the Holt 6-21, which is the same as the previous case. And that's the data that's used in the volumetrics and economics in the next engineering exhibits.
In Topher, is the Middle Bakken present continuous across this entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness, and move for admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Eric, moving along, are you personally familiar with engineering matters associated with this particular application 32620?
Yes, I am.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
On E1, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram for the wells in this spacing unit?
Sure. This is our standard 3-string design used in the Williston Basin again, as this is a 2560 acre proposed DSU. These are 4-mile laterals, 4.5-inch liners cemented in place, completed via plug and perf.
And turning to Exhibit E2, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this proposed unit?
Yes, in this 2560, we're proposing 5 wells to be batch drilled and completed simultaneously. This unit, as Mr. Lewis said, is just west of the previous case. We call this area Noonan.
And you do intend to, or pardon me, Phoenix intends to batch drill the wells in this unit?
That's correct.
Using Exhibit E3, can you please discuss the economics for these wells in this unit?
Yes, the top table describes the ARPS parameters used to yield a 650 MBO well with 5 wells in the unit. That yields an approximate DSU recovery factor of 13%. The economics are in the second table below. 4 malers, again, we approximate $11.76 million to drill and complete. That yields a PV10 of 5.5 million, internal rate of return realized of 34%.
Okay, Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights of owners be protected, and waste of oil and gas be prevented?
Yes, I do.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
That's correct.
No further questions for our engineering witness, and move for admission of the engineering exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32620. Case number 32621, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Fortune and Larson Bakken pools to establish a stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit comprising sections 23, 26, and 35. Township 163 North, Range 94 West, and Section 2, Township 162 North, Range 94 West, Burke County, North Dakota, authorizing up to 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in said unit and or such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Aaron Beaver, Saratoga, Wyoming, bringing this case on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC with our same 3 witnesses as previous dockets.
You may proceed.
All right, Tom, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to the proposed spacing unit in this application 32621?
Yes.
Have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes.
Looking at Exhibit L1, can you please identify the proposed spacing unit on the broad background map?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed 2,560 acre spacing unit, which we call Leopard, in 163 North, 94 West, sections 23, 26, and 35, along with Section 2 of 162 North, 94 West in Burke County.
All right, Tom, turning to Exhibit L2, please describe the spacing unit that's shown on L2 that's subject to this application, along with Phoenix's working interest in the unit.
Sure. L2 shows this same unit outlined in red with no active wells, just one plugged and abandoned, along with Phoenix's working interest there at the bottom, showing it 41.3% at this point.
And is Phoenix still actively leasing in this area?
Yes, there is some still small amount that's unleased, but we'll be working with other working interest owners in this unit.
Okay. And if will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in this proposed spacing unit if approved for drilling?
We will.
And Tom, did you execute the gas capture affidavit labeled Exhibit E4 to each set of exhibits?
Yes, I did.
I have no further questions for our land witness and move for admission of land exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, are you personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing units that are subject to this application in 32621?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
All right, looking at Exhibit G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken Formation underlying this spacing unit?
Exhibit G1 is a structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale and subsurface TVD, contour interval of 20 feet. Structure in the area is dipping to the south. And red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit. And note that this is just east of the previous two cases. Gold line, A to A prime. It's a 2-well cross section, highlighting the type log as the A prime well in the south that we'll use and reference in the next exhibits.
And the next exhibit, G2, can you please identify the type log and describe its contents along with the cross section?
Yeah, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross section, A to A prime, plotting curves from triple combo, gamma ray, resistivity, porosity. Black lines are generalized stratigraphy in the area, and they illustrate that the Bakken system is present in the subsurface, about 55 feet thick. Once again, our target in this area for planning is the Middle Bakken. And the lower table is the petrophysical data from the type well. Again, same as the previous two, the Holt 6-21. And the data from this is summarized in the table, and that's used for the volumetrics and the economics in the next engineering exhibits.
And Topher, is the Middle Bakken present and continuous across this entire proposed spacing unit?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness and move for admission of the geology exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Eric, are you personally familiar with engineering matters associated with this case 32621?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or cause to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing.
I have.
Looking at Exhibit E1, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed wellbore diagram for this unit?
Yes, again, this is our standard 3-string design we use in the Williston Basin, 4.5-inch liner cemented in place.
And turning to Exhibit E2, can you please describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this unit?
Yes, as Mr. Lewis mentioned, this is just east of our previous cases. We plan to drill the 5 wells simultaneously, spaced evenly about 1,045 feet apart, 550-foot setbacks west and east. We would plan to batch drill and complete these.
All right, turning to Exhibit E3. Can you please discuss the economics of the wells in this proposed unit?
Yes, as in the previous case, the EUR per well is estimated at 650,000 barrels of oil, about $12 million to drill and complete a 4-miler. That yields a PV10 of 5.5 million and an internal rate of return of 34%.
And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights of owners protected, and waste be prevented?
Yes, I do.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no further questions for our engineering witness and move for admission of our engineering exhibits, please.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32621. Case number 32622, application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Fortune and Larson Bakken pools to establish a stand-up 2560-acre spacing unit comprised of sections 24, 25, and 36, Township 163 North, Range 94 West, and Section 1, Township 162 North, Range 94 West, Burke County, North Dakota, authorizing up to 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in said unit and or such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Mr. Examiner, Aaron Beaver, Saratoga, Wyoming, on behalf of Phoenix Operating LLC, with our same 3 witnesses as previous dockets.
And you may proceed.
All right, Mr. Crook, are you personally familiar with the land matters that are subject to the proposed space unit in this application 32622?
I am.
And have you prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this particular hearing?
I have.
Looking at Exhibit L1, can you please identify and locate the proposed spacing unit on the broad background that's subject to this application?
Sure. L1 shows our proposed unit outlined in red, which we call Cheetah in this case, in Burke County, in spanning between 163 North, 94 West, sections 24, 25, and 36, and then Section 1 in 162 North, 94 West.
All right, turning to Exhibit L2, can you describe the spacing unit depicted along with Phoenix's working interest in this proposed unit?
Sure. L2 shows the proposed unit outlined in red, no wells at all, and Phoenix's working interest sitting at 54.6%.
And Tom, will Phoenix cooperate with other working interest owners in the proposed space unit if it's approved for drilling?
Yes, we will, Aaron.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit? That's E4, Exhibit E4.
I did.
No further questions for our land witness and move for admission of our land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you are personally familiar with the geology underlying the requested spacing units in this case number 32622, correct?
Yes, I am.
And you've prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
Yes, I have.
All right, looking at Exhibit G1, can you please describe the structure of the Middle Bakken Formation underlying this particular spacing unit?
Yeah, Exhibit G1, structure map on the Upper Bakken Shale, subsurface TBD with a contour interval of 20 feet. Again, the structure in this area is dipping to the south. And the red outline is our proposed 2560 spacing unit, which is just east of the previous 3 cases. The gold line is a 2-well cross-section, A to A prime, highlighting the type well at A prime that we'll use in the next exhibits.
And there's a dot labeled type log.
Correct, an arrow calling out the type log.
Flipping to Exhibit G4, can you identify that type log and describe the contents of the type log and the cross-section depicted?
Yeah, Exhibit G2, the upper portion is a 2-well cross-section, plotting curves from triple combo gamma ray resistivity porosity. The black lines represent generalized stratigraphy in the area, and they illustrate that the Middle Bakken, or the Bakken system, is present in the subsurface. Our target here, once again, is Middle Bakken, and the lower table is a summation of the petrophysical data from the type well, which again is the Holt 6-21, which was used in the previous 3 hearings. And that's the data that we'll use for volumetrics and the economics in the next engineering exhibits.
And the Middle Bakken is present and continuous across this entire proposed space unit, correct?
Yes, it is.
No further questions for our geology witness and move for admission of the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Mr. Shivy, are you personally familiar with the engineering matters associated with this particular spacing application 32622?
Yes, I am.
Be prepared or caused to be prepared the exhibits for this hearing?
I have.
And looking at Exhibit E1, can you describe for the Commission the proposed wellbore diagram for this proposed spacing unit?
Yeah, again, this is our standard 3-string casing design we use in the Williston Basin.
And flipping to Exhibit E2, please describe Phoenix's proposed development plan for this proposed unit.
Yes, sure. This is our 5 wells to be drilled in this proposed 2560 unit. This is just directly east of the previous case 32621. We would plan to batch drill and complete these wells.
And turning to Exhibit E3, can you discuss well economics for the wells in this proposed unit, please?
Yes, as in the previous 2 4-mile cases we just heard, it's identical, 650,000 barrels of oil per well estimated, with that yields a DSU recovery factor of 13% for the 5 wells, internal rate of return of 34%.
Great. And Eric, in your opinion, if this application is approved, will the drilling of unnecessary wells be prevented, correlative rights of owners be protected, and waste of oil and gas be prevented?
Yes, I do.
And is Exhibit E4 the gas capture affidavit previously testified to by Mr. Crook?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
I have no further questions for our engineering witness, and I move for admission of our engineering exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eric, do you know what your anticipated timing on development in this northern set of spacing units?
Yeah, you just heard the 4 cases here, Mr. Scruggs. This would not be on our immediate drill schedule. I would estimate probably Q4 of 2027 if I had to, as we put together more units up here.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32622. Case number 32517, application of Formentera Operations LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. Concludes our hearing for case number 32517. Case number 32518, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32518. Case number 32519, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32519. Case number 32520, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32520. Case number 32521, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32521. Case number 32623, application of Coda Resources Operating LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32623. Case number 32541, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32541. Case number 32384, application of Phoenix Operating LLC. This case has been continued to our March hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 32384. That concludes our hearings for the day.